Hi, I'm Kira with McKay Manor Musers, and today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on using your Silhouette Cameo and using heat transfer vinyl. So I'm going to be doing a simple project today. I'm going to take this little onesie here for my baby, and I'm going to be putting a heat transfer design on it. So I have some other ones like this, or like this, that you could do. I'm going to do a cute little kitty one today. You can tell the shirt that I'm wearing is one that I've designed as well. So today I'm going to show you how to put on one that I have designed, and you can download off of our website. So I'm going to start by showing you the project. So here we go. So for my project, I'm going to be using this design that I made, a little kitty that says, "You're freaking me out." And I'm going to be putting it on this little onesie, like I said. And for my design today, I've decided to use two different colors. So on the kitty, I want to do my kitty and the meow in this black sparkly heat transfer vinyl. And I'm going to do the other words, "You're freaking," in this white flocked material. So I'm going to show you how to set that project up, and you'll see here that I have these two pieces that were just kind of left over, so they're a little bit oddly sized, and so I will show you what you will do. So you're going to go to your Silhouette program, to the Silhouette Studio, and you're going to go to File, New, and you need to go to first to your page setup. So you'll see here that I kind of already have it set up for what I was getting ready for. But basically, you're going to take whatever piece you have. In my case, my piece, it was a 12-inch wide piece, and I had a little 5-inch left remnant. So you can see over here in my settings that I've made the width 12 and the height 5. Now, you can choose to cut vinyl with using a mat or not. You'll see here that I have it set on using a mat. You'll notice when I choose none, this red box shows the cuttable area. Your cutting area goes down a lot when you don't use the mat. It's not such a big deal if you are have a whole roll of it, but since I only have a scrap, I want to be able to use as much of it as possible. So I'm going to set it to put it on my 12 by 12 mat when I cut it out. That lets me use more of the scrap. Okay, so in order to set it up, you need to bring in the image. So if you were to download my kitty file, you need to save it to your computer, and then you need to go up here and you need to go to File, Merge. Okay, then you need to go to wherever you've saved it at, and it's going to be a PNG, and it will show up just like this. Okay, right now when you click on it, it shows you about how big it is, and it's approximately 2.5 inches wide by 5.5 inches tall that it's showing. Okay, now when you're doing heat transfer vinyl, you need to make sure that you mirror the image. In order to do that, you need to go over to your side panel and pick this one. It's called the replication panel. This one, you need to make sure that your image is selected, and this little button right here will make a mirror image copy. So you see how now I've made a copy of the kitty that's a mirror image. And it looks weird and you can't read it because it's in mirror image. But you can set it off to the side here. Anything off the mat isn't going to show up. So you can keep working anything over here that you want, and it won't make any difference. So over here, now that we have our image mirrored, what you need to do is select the parts you want cut out. So this is for my black glittery vinyl, and like I said, I want to just do the kitty and this bottom meow. So I need to go over to the side panel and go to this one, the trace panel, and you're going to click the button select trace area. It's going to give you the little crosshairs, and you're going to select the parts that you want. So I'm going to start by selecting the kitty, and I'm going to make a box that goes all the way around the kitty. And go up a little bit higher just to make sure, get all of his tail there. Okay, I like to bump up the threshold a little bit. Make sure that the kitty is all the way in yellow, and then select the trace button. Okay, now the kitty has been outlined in the red, and now I need to select trace area again. I have my crosshairs, and I'm going to select the word meow. Okay, you want to make sure you get the whole meow, but not the word above it. Again, bump up your threshold a little bit, somewhere in the 60s. Okay, now meow is completely outlined, and you're going to hit trace. Okay, now when you click on the kitty, you can move the kitty and just the red stays behind. So I'm going to go to my zoom out button. So it gives me a little bit more room. And I'm going to take the kitty and I'm going to actually just move it over to the side over here. Okay, so now I have the kitty and the meow. Now if you want to be able to keep your pieces together so that it keeps the spacing, go ahead and drag and select both, and then you're going to group them. And you do this by selecting Command and G. And you see now they're connected. Okay? And then I say this is pretty tight on there. If I wanted to arrange it a little better, I might rotate it. If you hit shift while doing it, it will turn it only in right turns so that you can keep it straight. And then you can move your cat just like that. Okay? And then now you have your cat and the meow, and it will keep this spacing. If you want to just rearrange them later and you don't want them grouped and you want to put them closer together to save vinyl, you can always do that. I'm going to do this so that it keeps the spacing that I had. Now what I need to do is go File, New, and create a second document in order to do my white vinyl. So my white vinyl I have here is, again, it was a 12-inch wide piece by 9 inches left. So I'm keeping my width at 12, and now I can bump up this up to 9. Okay. And again, I'm going to keep it on a mat so I can use more of the vinyl. Now I'm going to go back to this document, and I'm going to take the kitty that was already mirrored, and I'm going to copy that by doing Command C. Command C makes a copy, and then weirdly enough, Command V is your paste button. And you'll see I've pasted the kitty. Okay, now I want to go in and I want to select the other words that I was going to do in white. Okay, so I need to go back to my trace panel, select trace area, and now I will select just the other words of your freaking, bump up my threshold, and select trace. Okay, now again I can move the kitty off to the side because that doesn't matter. And I can take this and just move it up here to the top. And now I have, and I'm just going to zoom out so you can see the whole thing. But there I have it on, set up on my white piece. Now for this, I went ahead and already set up mine just because I didn't want to waste my vinyl. So I went ahead and added some extra images on mine. So I decided I'm going to cut out a couple of these kitties and some Frankensteins. And on my white, I'm going to add some other stuff that I'm working on, just so I use up more of my vinyl efficiently. But the idea is still the same, but I went from here and I just added more stuff to it by doing the same thing. By doing File Merge and then tracing the parts that I wanted to add lots of different things to my vinyl so as to not waste it. Now we will go over to the Cameo and cut this out. Alright, so I've come over to my Cameo, and you'll see I have it plugged into my computer and turned on, and I'm going to start with my black glittery piece. So you'll see I have here my piece of black glittery vinyl. Now you can see on this side is clearly the black sparkly side, and then this side is kind of more of a flat side. You want to cut from the wrong side, so in this case that would be the matte side. It's pretty easy to tell on one like this because one side is glittery and the other is not. But sometimes when it's more of a flat one, it's going to be the shiny side versus the non-shiny side. So now I'm going to put it on my mat, like I said. So I'm using my Silhouette cutting mat. This is allowing me to use more of the vinyl than if I were to just send this piece of vinyl in by itself. Now you could always just use the vinyl by itself if you wanted, but I'm choosing to do it this way to get more use out of my vinyl. So now what you need to do is you're going to line up your cutting mat, and you need to line up the edge of the cutting mat with these little blue lines on either side, okay? And tuck that in there, and you're going to select Load Cut Mat. Okay, now you need to make sure you set your blade correctly, and it depends on what vinyl you're using. I like to use vinyl from Expressions Vinyl, and they have a really good printout of exactly what settings to use that I found usually work really well. So I am using, this is my heat transfer vinyl, and I am using their glitter heat transfer vinyl. So it says that I should use a speed of 7, a thickness of 5, and a blade setting of 2. So I need to go over here and check on my ratchet, and it looks like I'm already set here at a 2. But if I wasn't, I would go in and I would make sure that this arrow is pointing right down at a 2. Okay, then you want to load this in with your line, the line on the little black thing, with this little hole right here, lock it into place. Okay, now I'm going to go over to my computer, and I'm going to select Send, and then you need to go down and select from your options, Heat Transfer Glitter. Now this is usually set to the presets that Silhouette has designed, and I always adjust it to what the Vinyl Expressions says to do. So I'm going to change my blade to ratchet blade, and I have it set to a 2. And it says to select a speed of 7 and a thickness of 5. So a speed I need to bump up to a 7, and a thickness all the way down to a 5. Okay, and I'm going to hit save, and then I'm going to select send. Okay. Now it's going to send it over to the printer, over to the Cameo, and cut that out, and we will come back. Alright, so I finished with my black piece, and when it was done I just selected unload and took it out. Now I've already put my white piece down on the mat, and you can tell on this it's got a glossy side, and that is the carrier sheet that is going to hold your design down. And then this side is the matte side. That's the side you want to cut on. So that's the side that's up. And then I'm going to go over here to my to the silhouette design, and I need to go to my other piece. So I'm going to go over here to the white piece that I have set up, and I'm going to go to send, and I'm going to pick my settings, and I picked the flocked. So I went down to heat transfer flocked, okay, and then brought up the additional settings. And from here, I'm going to select their settings for strip flock, which say to cut at a blade of 5. So I'm going to adjust my blade depth to a 5 and load it in. And then set my speed to a 5 and the thickness to a 15. Okay, change my blade to the ratchet blade. So 5/15 and bump this up to a 5. Okay, now I just need to load the cutting mat and select the load cut mat and then send. Hi there. Okay, so I'm back and I just wanted to make a clarification, so my apologies. I was reading my thing wrong. And you cut the glitter and the strip flock on the same setting. So when I cut mine the first time on the black, it didn't cut through enough, so I had to send it through again and recut it. Luckily it worked and it didn't totally screw it up. But I went through and sent that through again. And then the black is a little bit harder to see on this. So I just took my piece and I cut around. You can't really totally see it, but I cut around each design. So I had 3 little kitties, so I cut them out. And I just cut out around them. On my white, I had to send that through again. So it comes out like this. So all I did was take it and I just kind of cut around the piece, right? Just so it isolates the piece that you are going to be weeding around. And weeding is basically where you're just taking off the excess around the part that you've cut out. So we're going to take our kitty here, and like I said, there's that shiny side and the matte side, right? So the idea is we want to take off all of the extra vinyl around our design, and we're going to leave that shiny piece. So I'm going to use my little tools here to peel up a piece, and I'm going to peel back my design. So you can see I'm just peeling this off gently. Okay. All the way around. Use my tool to pull up underneath the kitty. Pulling down. Okay. Gotta be gentle going around the words because they're small and delicate. Because you want everything that you want to keep, so you want the design to stay on that clear transfer tape. And leave just the design behind. So it just came off. Adjust that there. So I'm just being careful and delicate around the little tiny pieces of this. Also, when you have small words, you want to make sure to be careful so that you don't rip the letters. If you rip you pull too quickly, you might rip a letter. Sorry, my lighting's not the greatest. It's kind of difficult. There we go. All right, so here we go. My T came off, so I'm just adjusting that back on. And my exclamation point came off. So sometimes you might have a piece that comes off, and you just need to place it back down onto the clear piece. You'll see where it came off. Okay. So you'll see here, I have just the kitty and meow, meowt on the bottom. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing with my white piece. Okay. So you're just going to reach in between the two layers. You're going to pull off the excess around your letters. The words are quite small since they're going on a little baby's onesie, so we've got to be extra careful. Okay, so you see I've peeled off around the words. Now you'll notice on my words that the insides of the letters are still there, so I just have to go back, carefully pick those out. Like the inside of the O, the inside of an E. But make sure when you have letters like an I, that you don't pick off the dot to the I. You want to make sure that what is left behind is, oh, look, see, my dot to my I didn't come out. I'm going to poke it back out. Add it on. Okay. So now I'm left with just my letters. You're freaking me out. Okay. And you can see how it's going to fit right in there. So the next part is to iron it on. All right, so now I am ready to iron. So you're going to want to make sure you're working on a nice flat surface, okay? And you're going to place your design where you want it. Now in this case, when you're doing designs that have two different pieces, you're going to want to do them separately. You'll see that that's why I chose to keep these spaced together so that I can just put this in and I don't know where it fits exactly, but I can't put them in at the same time because that one needs to be underneath where that one goes. So I'm going to go ahead and place that, and I like where it's at. And then you're going to use your heat setting. So if you have a heat press, that usually works best. It's a big 2 metal plates that will heat press it down. I don't have one of those right now, so I'm using my trusty iron here. And you're going to set it at for whatever specific vinyl you're using. In this case, I'm using the glitter, and so it needs to be hot, so I'm setting it at my cotton setting. And you're going to want to, sorry, my messy craft room, use the heat settings chart here. So I am using the glitter right now, which says to use it at 320, which is a hot setting, which is why I have it set at the cotton for 10 to 15 seconds, and you want to peel it either hot or cold. So we are going to place our iron, hold it down for 15 seconds. And you want to make sure you give it really good pressure. Push it down as hard as you can and make sure it's on a flat surface. I found that a ironing board doesn't work particularly well. It's just not solid enough. And so you want to get a nice firm pressure down. Okay. And then you can wait for this to cool, or since it's a glitter one, you can peel while it's still hot. This works better when you have two hands. Here we go. All right. And then you're going to place the second one right in there. And you'll see that it's nice and spaced out already for me. Okay. Now, in a case like this, I want to, since I already have some vinyl down and I want to protect it, I'm going to use my pressing cloth to protect the vinyl that's already there. And we're going to use the setting for strip flock this time, which is again hot, for 15 to 20 seconds this time, and you want to peel when cold. So I'm going to press this for 15 to 20 seconds and then let it cool. All right, so I've given this a chance to cool completely, and now I'm going to peel back this one, and voila, all done. And so now I have applied my heat transfer vinyl onto my cute little onesie for my baby. And you can buy the image for this so that you can cut it out yourself if you have your own silhouette. If you don't, you can also purchase the pre-cut vinyls. So you can purchase one of these that I will already have cut out for you. I also wanted to point out a few other things when doing it. So if you're doing a large design like this one that I'm working on, you'll notice that if I were to have a heat press, I could do this all at once. But since I don't, I'm going to have to press this piece down in sections. And so you're going to want to make sure that you get every section of it, but you want to try and not have them overlap too much. Okay, so then you want to come back in the other way. Got the cord in there. Okay, and you're going to want to press down all of your sections and making sure that you get the entire design completely down without doing it too much. One other thing that I was going to show is on this one. So I'm cutting out this gold one now. And when you're not using the matte, I'm using an entire sheet. On this one, you'll see here's the gold sparkle. This is the sparkly shiny side. I have that down and my matte side up. Okay, and now this time I've lined up my vinyl so that the vinyl falls between these two lines. And I'm going to select load media instead of load cut matte. And that didn't load very straight, so I'm going to redo it. But then I'm going to go ahead and send that through. So those are a couple more tips and tricks for cutting your own heat transfer vinyl. All right, so there you have it. There is my heat transfer vinyl tutorial, all complete. So remember, you can find this design as well as this one on our website. You can download just the image and cut it out yourself, or we also have the pre-done decals for you that you can purchase off of our website if you don't have your own Cameo, and you can use you can just order our pre-cut ones and apply it to whatever you want. So you can do this one here, like what I've done on my shirt for an adult, or we have this one for little kids and a whole bunch of others. So I hope you enjoyed it and I hope it helps. Thanks so much. Bye.